students, I welcome you all for the online class of economics. Today we will be continuing the rural development. As we were learning, there were several banks which were opened for the help of the rural credit. Let us have a revise of the regional rural banks, RRBs. These have been set up under the Regional Rural Banks Act of 1976. The areas of their operation have been very carefully selected as the area where banking, facilities and cooperatives are absent. Normally the region is a cluster of districts. Definitely student, that time mainly it was not big states and cities. They were small districts more in number. So to help the district area, regional rural banks were held. The central government through NABARD participate in its 50th capital. They cater exclusively to the needs of the weaker section. They have been able to achieve the main objective of helping the weaker sections in the rural areas. Nearly 90% of the loans of RRBs were provided to the weaker sections. These banks have been successful due to loans at lower rate of interest, at higher rate of interest on deposits. The payout to the staff was in tune with the other banks. Means there was benefit because and the staff were also interested to work because they were getting the same salary as other banks were getting. Weakness of regional rural banks are as follows: regional disparities in growth. The growth of regional rural banks in all parts of the country was not proportionate, means equal way it was not started. Sometimes they were wrongly located, which created the problem of coordination. Second is the continuous losses. Most of regional rural banks are incurring losses year after year. The rich farmers do not come forward to deposit their savings with these banks. Rates of lending are also low. Problems of growing overdues. As much of 50% of the advances extended have become overdue due to increasing defaults. Various shortcomings in dealings. There we have read need of the borrowers are not studied nicely. Pre-sanction inspections are not conducted properly. Disbursement were made in stages without verifying the progress of the work. Sometimes documents executed by the borrowers were incomplete. Methods of operation. Regional rural banks have adopted the methods adopted by the sponsoring banks. These methods were not provided to be useful because same method cannot be applicable for every type of banks, for every type of area. So that was still going in through the way of regional rural banks also. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. Once again I want to explain this topic because it is very important, the NABARD. In 1979, Reserve Bank of India appointed a committee to go into the whole structure of rural credit and make recommendation for reorganizing and strengthening it. Okay, so a particular organization was made by the Reserve Bank of India, that itself was the NABARD student. So they were formed to see the rural credit structure, how it is working, how it has to be operated likewise. The committee gave its report in March 1981 and recommended the setting up of NABARD. It was set up in July 1982. It has an authorized share capital of rupees 500 crore. The Reserve Bank of India has contributed half of the share capital, while the other half has been contributed by the Government of India. Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India is the chairman of NABARD. The National Agricultural Credit Fund has been transformed from Reserve Bank of India to NABARD to form a part of its National Rural Credit Fund. It is permitted to raise the resources from government and the market. From Reserve Bank of India, it can take help for short-term credit and working capital loans. Functions of NABARD, where we talk, to provide short, medium and long-term credit to state cooperative banks, regional rural banks, land developmental banks and other financial institutions approved by the Reserve Bank of India. Second thing, to grant long-term loans to the state government for subscribing to the share capital of cooperative societies. Means state government, the big help was getting from the NABARD to help the cooperative society, which was the duty of the state government to run, so as to provide rural credit to the peoples. To give loans to the approved institutions to invest in securities or to contribute to share capital of institutions engaged in agriculture and rural development. To coordinate activities of the central and state government and of other all India and state level institutions interested in the development of small scale industries, village industries and rural credits. To take the responsibility of inspecting cooperative banks, regional rural banks and primary cooperative societies. To promote research in agriculture and rural development. To serve as a refinancing agency for the institutions providing finance to rural and agricultural development. To sanction credit limits and refinance to state cooperative banks, land developmental banks and the regional rural banks for supplementing their resources for short-term and medium-term loans for various agricultural and non-agricultural purposes. NABARD can help tenant farmers and small farmers to consolidate their land holding. So these were the duties, were functions you can say, which was done by the NABARD. Mainly it was made to improve and the cooperative banks and as well as agriculture and rural development area for help of them. NABARD was enacted. Next is self-help groups and microcredit program. This also I explained. Once again I want to explain because it can be a project topic of any of the student. Self-help group student, when we talk, has the name is self-help group. A group, an idea has been incorporated to make a self-help group of the peoples who don't have any occupation. They can start the work which in which they are specialized. Maybe pickles formation, jam formation, stitching business, means tailoring business. That type of business they can start. They can form the things and they can sold by themselves. That way that self-help group was enacted. A microcredit program promote thrift in small proportion by a minimum contribution from each member. From the pooled money, credit needs are fulfilled. The member have to repay the credit in small installment at low rate of interest. The borrowings are mainly for consumption purposes. The following points emerge on the latest status of agricultural credit social Source Economic Survey 2009 and 10. To improve credit flow to the agricultural sector, the government initiated a number of policy measures from time to time, like farm credit package and special agricultural credit plans (SAL). The credit flow in 2008 and 9 in place at rupees 2,64,455 crore. To provide adequate and timely credit support to the farmers from the formal banking system is a flexible and cost-effective manner from the Kisan Credit Card scheme was introduced in February 1999. The Kisan Credit Card scheme has now been extended to borrowers of the long-term cooperative credit structure. To give further fillip to the KCC scheme, NABARD advised all RRBs to achieve the targets of issuing at least 150 Kisan credit cards by each branch of regional rural banks during 2007 and 8. The Agricultural Debt Waiver and Debt Relief Scheme has announced on the Union Budget 2008 and 9. An amount of rupees 15,889 crore has been released to Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala and Maharashtra under the rehabilitation package for distressed farmers on March 31, 2009. These was the various programs, students, which were done to make the situation of the rural areas better, to make the credit to make the situation of the people better. For that, KCC plays a very important role, that is Kisan Credit Card scheme, which was introduced in February 1999 and it has been extended to borrowers of the long-term cooperative credit structure. Rural banking, a critical evaluation. Definitely what the critical things which we had evaluated in rural banking are as follows. Since 1969, when the nationalization of commercial banks took place, rural banking has expanded a great deal. Significant expansion of rural banking system plays a positive role in raising farm and non-farm output by providing services and credit facilities to farmers, providing long-term loans with better repayment option. It thus helped in eliminating money lenders from the scene. Providing long-term loans with better repayment options, it thus helped in eliminating money lenders from the scene, generating credit for self-employment schemes in rural areas, achieving food security, which is clear from the abundant buffer stocks of the grains. So this was the rural banking critical evaluation we have did. Positive role was very good, that it helped in the raising farm and non-farm output by providing services and credit facility to farmers. It also generated credit for self-employment schemes in rural areas. It also helped in achievement of food security, which is clear from the abundant buffer stocks. Limitations of rural banking, when we say the sources of institutional finance are inadequate to meet the requirement of agricultural credit. Farmers still depend on money lenders for their credit needs. There exists regional inequalities in the distribution of institutional credit. Rural banking is suffering from the problems of large amount of overdues and default rate. Recovery of agricultural loans has become a serious problem in the functioning of rural banking institution. About 50% of the defaulters are willful defaulters. Means they themselves don't want to pay off the money what they had taken as loan for the agricultural purpose. This constitutes a threat to the vacant existence of rural banking. It is an alarming situation. Small and marginal farmers receive only a very small portion of the institutional credit. A large portion of institutional credit is taken away by the rich farmers. Solutions of the problems to the problems of agricultural credit in India, when we see has the problems and limitations, the role of the rural banking and the limitations we have learned. Now we will be proceeding to the solutions of the problems of rural banking, which says credit facility should be extended to farmers by commercial bank on easy terms and conditions, and especially to the small scale farmers because their need is more as compared to large scale farmers. Cooperative credit societies in rural areas should be strengthened and their working should be transparent and efficient. An effective mechanism for the recovery of agricultural loans should be revolved at the earliest. More regional rural banks should be set up to meet the credit needs of the rural and backward areas. This is the solutions of problems of rural agricultural credit in India. Next come agricultural marketing. When we talk about agricultural marketing, the meaning of and features of agricultural marketing are as follows. Agricultural marketing is defined as a process of marketing farm produce through wholesalers and stockists to ultimate consumers. Features of agricultural marketing, when we see agricultural products involve high storage and transportation costs as they are bulky. Agricultural products are generally perishable in nature, so a farmer has to sell off as early as possible. If price of agricultural product falls, demand will not increase in a greater proportion. If price of agricultural product rises, supply cannot increase instantly. Concept of advertising and other sales promotion activities are not existing in agricultural marketing. There is problem of standardization and grading of agricultural products. In developing countries, farming is a way of life rather than a commercial proposition. Prices of agricultural product is determined by the government or wholesalers. Farmers have poor bargaining powers. So this is the agriculture marketing student. When we learn features of agriculture marketing, it is very clear that involves the help which is needed for the agriculture farmers to do the farming in a better way. Generally, it is perishable. Agriculture products are perishable in nature. Because of that, they require the godowns, warehouses, so that it can be stored in a proper way. Prices of agriculture product falls because demand will not increase in a greater proportion. That is a fact, because agriculture product cannot be increased. It is increased as per the climatic situation, the favorable facts which is needed for the growth of the agriculture. More than that, we cannot grow the agriculture product. Concept of advertising, other sales promotion activities are not existing in agricultural marketing. Problems of standardization and grading of agriculture product plays a very vital role because it becomes very difficult to make the grading of the agriculture product. Defects of agricultural marketing, when we say the present system of agricultural marketing is far from satisfactory, the following are the main defects. Very first, inadequate warehouses. The government has opened very few warehouses with scientific techniques for storing their products. The warehouses do not fulfill the needs of the farmers. As a result, the farmer has no better choice but to store grains in the mud vessels, gunny bags, etc. in the open area, which is a loss for the farmers if any climatic situation arises. These are unscientific methods of storing which lead to a considerable wastage of the extent of 5 to 10% as the produce gets rotten or is eaten by rats and pests and thus become unfit for human consumption. The cultivator is thus obliged to sell the produce immediately after harvesting. Multiplicity of middlemen. There are large number of middlemen between cultivators and consumers. They perform a variety of functions and earn profit. They exploit both farmers and consumers. It is observed that there is a big difference between the price released by the farmer and final price paid by the consumer. Studies show that only 40 paise is in rupee paid by the consumer is given to the producer. So is the bad of the condition of the farmers. Malpractices and unregulated markets. A number of malpractices prevail in Indian markets. The broker conspires against the cultivators. Broker takes undue advantage of the ignorance and illiteracy of the farmers. They use unfair means of cheat to them. Improper measuring for weighing, grading and standardization. In India, a large variety of weights and measures are used in the same market, but the way is not good. Sometimes two sets of weights are used, one for buying and one for another for selling. So how they will match? Same weighing machine must be used for buying as well as for selling. But the traders were doing ill practices. There is no organized agency to classify the product of farmers in different grades and fix prices accordingly. Lack of adequate finance. Farmer is a man with small means. He doesn't have much money to repay back his old dues or to pay his land revenue. Banks and cooperative societies are not able to fully meet the credit of the needs of the farmers. So farmers are forced to depend upon money lenders, and still the condition is bad, and traders who charge a very high rate of interest. Inadequate means of transport and communication. Definitely, there were not good means of transport and communication for the farmers to transport their goods from the place of production to the place of distribution. Many of the villages are not connected with pakka roads. Most of the village roads are not for the motor vehicles, especially in the rainy season time. The produce has to be carried in slow-moving bullock carts as long as journey. Inadequate market information. A farmer has little connection with the outside world. He does not get the necessary information regarding the prevailing in different market. In such a situation, a farmer depends mostly on hearsay and reports received from local traders. He brings the product on the market not when the prices are profitable, but when the needs of the money arises. Steps undertaken by the government for improving agriculture marketing. When we see, the government has taken the following steps. First, the establishment of regulated markets. Government has formed regulated market to remove the most of the evils of an unorganized market system. Functions of regulated market are as follows: enforcement of regulated standard weights, fixation of charges, fees, etc. for the farmers, settling of disputes among the operating parties in the market, prevention of unlawful deductions and control of wrong practice of middlemen, providing reliable market informations. Advantages of regulated market. When we see, farmers have been able to get fair price for their product. Definitely, when fixation of charges and fees has been done, they are getting the right price for their product. Consumers are able to get regular supply of food grains and pulses at reasonable prices as the transportation has been developed. It has led to commercialization of farming. Definitely, what the means was required for commercialization, now it has been developed. Because of that, easily the farm products can be commercialized, means sold in the market. Banking system, warehousing facilities, etc. have grown up. Provision of infrastructural facilities. When we see, the government has taken measures to develop infrastructure facilities like roads, railways, warehouses, godowns, cold storages and processing units. Cooperative market. Cooperative marketing is a measure to ensure a fair price to farmers. Member farmers sell their surplus to the cooperative society, which substitutes collective bargaining in place of individual bargaining. It links rural credit farming marketing processes to the best advantage of the farmers. The cooperative marketing structure is the country is working at various levels. At present, we find primary cooperative marketing societies at the mandi level, district, central, federations, and the National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited, NAFED. NAFED is the apex cooperative marketing organization dealing in procurement, distribution, export and import of selected agricultural products. Example, the success of milk cooperative in Gujarat. It has helped in transforming the social and economic landscape of Gujarat. Although there has been an overall progress in cooperative marketing, yet it is our wholly satisfactory. Cooperative have yet to cover a substantial part of the total agriculture produce. It is therefore essential that these cooperative develop at a faster speed and along the right lines, so these could perform the role assigned to them. So these was the points. Next class we will be going to learn important instruments to safeguard the interest of farmers. Thank you for today's class. Have a nice day.